Why don't we just start off by introducing yourself and your name and where you work or where you go to school or where you're at in your career. Just for the record.
Okay, so my name is Tiffany Anywanu. I work in DC. I work at Cole Stevens Salon as an assistant. I went to Aveda Institute that was in DC. They recently closed and moved to Virginia. So, yes,
Okay.
I graduated in March of 2020.
Okay. Oh wow, that's a
Yeah.
heck of a time to graduate.
Yes, my graduation date was actually set for the 14th and that got canceled. So,
So, did you already have your job when
yes, I
before
did.
it shut down and before you
Hmm.
graduated? Oh, see. So
Yeah.
that's a message to everybody. Don't wait until you graduate to get a job.
Yeah,
You never
yeah,
know what's going to
I
happen.
that is very true because I'll be honest, I think I was very lucky at how persistent I was to get a job in my second phase of cosmetology school. So, yeah.
Okay. Well, you know what?
Yeah.
I don't even want to like stick to my questions right now. I want to know more about this. So
Yeah.
tell me what that means. How persistent you when you say persistent, I think I know what it means, but just to like clarify, tell me what you mean by that.
So, Cole Stevens is actually a salon that I started off as a client first.
Yeah.
I'm originally from New Jersey, so I'm currently living with my sister. So I used to come visit my sister, and when I come visit, I would go get my hair done at Cole Stevens. To be completely honest, cosmetology school wasn't planned. It wasn't something that I thought was going to happen. It was kind of just like, okay, I'm here and this is what I want to do, so I'm going to do it. When I first started, funny enough, my fundamentals educator, she actually worked at the salon. So Miss Stacy, she was my cosmetology first start first phase educator, and she recommended that I apply just as an assistant, as a whatever I could do to get my foot in the door.
At
And
this specific salon or just in general?
at this specific salon, because I had also told her that I was a client and how I liked the salon, how I loved the salon and everything. So she told me that I should just do it. And I put in my application. I did my best. I explained, I told them that I was her student. We had a nice interview and I didn't hear back. So I didn't hear back, and I had told her, I was just like, yeah, I don't know, like maybe they didn't like me or whatever it was, like maybe it just wasn't the right time. She said, yeah, maybe it wasn't the right time, but they do need people, so they are hiring and they'll get back to you sooner or later. That happened in February. I had started cosmetology school at the end of January. It was April 22nd that there was a career fair at my school, and it was actually on a day that I didn't have school. So I literally came from Maryland to DC to the career fair, and Cole Stevens was having a booth there. And I honestly only went there for them, but I just played it off. I went to every other booth and then came to them last, and I was just like, "Hey guys, like I had an interview with you guys a couple months ago, and luckily the stylist that was there with the manager, she was actually my sister's stylist."
Okay.
So I was just like, yeah, and Fifi, my sister. And she was like, yeah, you look familiar. Like, yeah, just put your information down and we'll get back to you. And that's pretty much how I got hired.
Wow.
So,
So you basically like cornered them
yeah.
and said, "Yo, what's up?" Like,
Yeah.
what's your, like, you can't run, you can't evade me now.
Yeah. Basically, like I'm the type of person that when I know what I want, I'm gonna
Okay.
keep on trying until I get it.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. I think that's
Yeah.
a little public service announcement.
Yeah.
Um, so while we're on the topic, why don't we like talk about the hiring and interviewing process? How many did you apply anywhere else?
I did, but they weren't salon related. I
Okay.
had applied to European Wax Center. I applied to also, I think it was basically being a freelance like artist with like Estee Lauder and like with their brand.
Do you do makeup
Um,
also?
I started off my interest in the industry through makeup.
Okay.
So yeah,
Okay.
uh, I have a taste in it, but now that like I'm so into hair, I'm like that could wait.
Totally. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So
Um, so when you were like in general, what type what are you looking for in a salon? Like, you can tell us about the place you work at, but you could also speak generally, like had you not found that place, um, what would you be looking for? And maybe you found everything in your place, or maybe you found most of the things, but like what are you looking for in a salon, like a place to work? So like just I want to kind of create a little baseline here. When you're thinking about when we're talking about this subject, my intention is to talk to rising stylists, people maybe in
mhm.
school or just graduated who don't have a job yet. They don't know where they want to work. They might have applied, maybe not have applied, but I'm also want this conversation to be directed at salon owners and hiring managers, because there's a divide between the generation coming up and the generation that's hiring, and we don't necessarily always get each other. And I hear from a lot of salon owners that they don't understand the young people. I mean, that's basically every generation says that about the next generation.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
so okay, so sorry. So now that I put that out there, yeah, what are you looking for in a salon?
The first thing that I do look for is customer service. I want to know how they treat their customers, how they treat their employees, how, just what the relationship between the staff and the employee and what between the staff and the clients are, but also between management and, everyone else. That's the main thing that I do look for, because at the end of the day, like, as much as it doesn't seem like it, we do want to find a salon home, and an environment is important when you are working in a salon, especially because you're there for majority of your day. Like, let's just face it, like when you go into the salon, you're not leaving until the end of the day, and when you go in, you're
So,
going in
so,
early.
so would you say that you had special insight to your current salon because you went there as a client? You got to see it from that perspective. Like, if you weren't a client, how would you see what their customer service was? Would you go as a client, or would you
it's
go and
a,
sit
it's
in, or
actually funny because I feel as though having gone as a client was probably even more of a little bit of a disadvantage, because I may have gotten just maybe slightly disappointed in a sense, but not necessarily. It just wasn't what I was expecting. Because, as a client, you only see what people are going to show you.
total?
But as someone who's working behind the scenes, you see everything. You see the front end and the back end.
So how do you like, what it would be your advice to someone looking for a new job or their first job? Like, how would they discover that? Like, how would you go about figuring that out?
I think the main thing is really learning how to separate your personal life from your work life,
Okay.
because you have to go in with fresh eyes and a fresh mind. You can't really go in thinking that you know anything, or thinking that you know what to expect. You have to go in with no expectations, so that way whatever happens at work, you could take it in at work, but it stays at work. It doesn't go home with you. And it,
So
you know,
yeah, so in order to really get the vibes, you really gotta like maybe go and do a shadow day or get hired and try to get hired, and then don't stick around for more than what, 2 weeks if
Or the
you're not.
training process. The training
Yeah.
process is really pretty much everything that you need to know. At least I
Okay.
feel as though it is.
Okay. Please expand on that. Like when someone explains to you what a training, like explain to me what and the audience what a training process, like your experience with training processes and what you like and dislike.
The salon that I'm at is the only salon that I've ever worked at.
Yeah, that's fine.
So I only know of what I've been told of other training processes. But from what I know and from what I've experienced, usually the training process is really mainly shadowing behind stylists, behind other assistants, behind receptionists, just to get the feel of the salon.
Hmm.
So you need to know how the salon expects a shampoo to be done, how they expect a blow dry to be done, how they expect styling to look like, what their
Gotcha.
products are, how, like, what products they use, how the products work, what the ingredients are, what their functions are.
Right.
I think that's all of what the training process is. And I think it also tells you a lot because I'll be honest, coming from Aveda and working with a salon that works with Wella, I was like, I'm not too sure if I would want to work with a salon that works with Wella because I feel like it's very standard. I can't customize it. But then as I started learning with it, I was just like, oh, wait, I take that back, you know? So it's like you have to go through the training process to know if this is something that I do want to do or if it's something that I don't.
I like that. So have an open mind when you, like, if you're going to put yourself in the position to, first of all, I hear your recommendation. Correct me if I'm wrong. What I hear you saying is, if I'm going to look for my first job or a new job, or I moved or whatever the reason is, really what I should be doing is asking for an opportunity to do some shadowing
Yes.
in order to see them. Maybe I don't go and ask for a job, or maybe I'm asking for a job, but part of my terms should be to that I want to come in and I want to shadow you for like maybe more than one day. Everyone can put their
Hmm.
best foot forward for a day or two or three, but
Hmm.
a whole week. It's like
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
you're gonna start
Yeah.
to see people's true colors.
I
Especially if you're
definitely
in the
agree.
salon and the break room and stuff. I like that. I like that a
Exactly.
lot. I think that more salons should adopt a shadowing program for young stylists. Okay, so and then once you get the opportunity to shadow, I hear you telling everybody to have an open mind because you might learn something or discover something that is maybe in contrary to what you believed before, and
Yeah.
or just something you learn something new. Like,
Yeah.
I think that's amazing. I think that's gold right there. I mean, we
Yeah.
could stop the conversation right there. I just like to put that out there. But I do have some more questions. So when you were interviewed, what do you think you did that impressed the interviewer? I mean, maybe it's your persistence, but if it's more than that,
Yeah.
because I would say that's probably the biggest thing in my opinion.
Yeah.
So I love
Um,
that persistence thing. But
yeah.
anything else?
I'll be honest, I do agree that my persistence is probably the number one thing, but I also think that another thing, even regardless of like salon interviews and interviews in general, is just being very open and direct and having a conversation with the person interviewing you. Because I'm not afraid to tell the person that I'm interviewing these are my strengths and these are my weaknesses, because it also shows like, well, this is what I'm good at, but this is where I want to grow.
Totally.
So I think also, because another thing that I do have to admit is that another thing with, I guess I could say, the older generation is they do want people that are teachable, and we want to grow. We want to be the next big thing
Hold on.
because
Hold on. I want to clarify.
mhm.
I want to make sure I understand. I want to make sure I understand and everyone else understands what we're saying. so you said the older generation, as in like generations older than you. I'm assuming, are you Gen Z? You're
I don't know what generation I am.
I'll
I
tell
don't
you
know if
right
I'm a
now.
millennial. I'm 96.
96 is, yeah, you're a cross between the,
Yeah.
you're the youngest millennial, but you're probably one of the older Z's. Okay. So you're saying like people that are older, an older generation, which they do look at things differently. I've discovered that through my career. So okay, so are you saying that they want the people they hire to be teachable?
Yes.
And then you said, we want to be the best. Are you saying we, or you, what do you like? Can you clarify that statement?
So, as in my generation, we are looking at the older generation and seeing how successful that they were,
Okay.
and we want that for ourselves.
Okay. All right.
So, the only way that we are going to get that way is by taking in pretty much almost all of what the older generation has done, but making it our own.
Totally.
Yeah.
So would you say that in your experience, well, before I get off topic, okay, I think that was a great answer to that question. The next question is, what during the interview process, that what impressed you, like in any of these interviews that are related to the industry, what really kind of turns you off and what turns you on about the place or the interviewer? Maybe like think of this as like pointing things out that you liked and disliked, for somebody who's going to turn around and do it themselves.
For example, there was at Aveda, we also had like SOE days where people came in to talk to the school. And there was another salon owner that came to talk to basically, promote her salon. What I liked about it was that she did offer benefits to her employees. So
Okay.
she offered health care and a 401k, I believe, and also paid time off.
Wow.
But but every single employee was paid salary, and that started off at, I believe, 12.75.
Was this in Virginia,
No, in
Maryland?
DC. In DC.
How long ago was this?
This was, I want to say, they came to Aveda maybe in May of 2019.
Wow. That's
Yeah,
interesting because I thought the minimum wage in DC was $15 an hour.
exactly. And that increased actually, I believe it was June of 2020.
Oh, okay. Okay, well
Yeah,
that explains
yeah,
it.
yeah.
Okay, so I just want to write. I just like to take notes during these calls. So what was the name of
No
that
problem.
salon?
I believe that was Atlas Salon.
Atlas, and they offered
Yeah,
benefits
yeah.
and a
They offered,
salary. Were the stylists on salary as well?
yeah. So the stylists were on salary as well. And I
Wow.
believe you had to have your license to work there. So,
And did they tell you, do you ever get off of salary? Like, how do you make more money? And
and that's the thing. I don't think that they're really, and that's the thing. That's why I didn't like it, because there was always going to be a cap on how much money you actually can make. So
uh,
I think it was like, because you know how sometimes as you level up, as a stylist, your prices increase.
yeah.
Your prices would increase, but so would your salary. But you wouldn't be benefiting from your prices. You would just be benefiting from your salary, and it would only increase by, I believe it was between 10 and 20%.
Okay.
So
Okay.
it wasn't by much.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So that I like this. This is I love learning about new places and new ideas and
Yeah.
things I haven't heard of before. And combination of stuff like benefits, Like I know of salons that offer benefits, and they're not salary, they're commission, and
Yeah,
you know, a 401k, but like those are pretty rare. Like I haven't heard of a
it
lot of
is.
places that offer that stuff. You know. All right.
Yeah.
Let's see. What else do I got? If you had one piece of advice for a new stylist, and this might be redundant, but that's okay because repetition is reinforcement. So, any stylist applying for the first time or just hasn't applied for a new job in a long time, what would be your one piece of advice?
Know exactly what it is that you are looking for in a salon
Okay.
and figure out which salon's best match. Obviously, I don't know if it's possible to find a salon that's 100% matched to all of your wants and desires, but at least something that is close enough is your best bet, and then go from there.
Okay, and if you had one piece of advice for an owner or manager looking to attract good talent, you know, you sound like somebody who, for me as a hiring manager, what's important to me is someone's drive and their willingness to learn. And I don't want anybody who's not a student anymore. I want you.
Yeah.
I'm a forever student. I'm always learning. I'm always trying to push myself to do harder. I've been doing hair for a while, and I still go. I still bring in models and do their hair for free, which means I pay for their color. You know, and I've been
Hmm.
doing hair a long time. You know. Um, so you sound like a good pick. So if someone wanted to attract someone like yourself, what piece of advice do you have for them in order to, you know, salons, if you don't offer benefits, then that's not like they're going to turn around and offer benefits. So not
Yeah.
that piece of advice, but like what would make a place attractive outside of something like adding 401k or something like that, but like, you know, anything
I
else?
think I think honestly what attracts especially my generation is marketing. um we like to see things. So one thing that I like to see is I love to see that almost every single stylist creates great work. I like to see how they interact with clients on social media. I want to see what they post on social media. I want to see what they stand for and their brand on social media so that I don't have to do so much research and digging on my own to figure that out. Yeah.
Wow. What an answer. You know what's crazy is that answer is like almost textbook.
Yeah.
And like, but it's like one of those answers that no one really wants to hear, especially
Yeah.
if you don't have like an Instagram already set up, or like, you know, like you're going to be so upset to hear that answer. But I think that answer, I think you nailed it.
Yeah.
More and more I talk uh, to people in general, especially younger people, or I read about like what the future looks like for business and our industry. Yeah, wow. So the tip to the managers and owners is like get your shit together and get a nice website and put together and have an Instagram. You know. Well, thank you so much for sharing. That's I
No
love ending with these
problem.
stories and a laugh, and it was a pleasure. And
Thank
please keep me
you.
posted through your journey and your career. When do you think you'll are you slated to get on the floor anytime soon, or what are you looking?
So I finally got my practical exam date, and it's for February 8th.
Okay.
So
Wait, is this your
I,
license?
yes,
Okay, okay.
yeah. So basically, since I've graduated school right at the beginning of the pandemic,
Right, right.
it's been a runaround. So I
Oh,
took my theory part in September, and I'm just now getting a date for my practical.
so do you think you'll be
So
going on the floor once you get your license? Is that the plan?
yeah, At
Yeah.
least I hope so. That's what I'm expecting. I hope that that's what they're expecting too.
That's great. Have you, do you have like a train? Have you been doing training and stuff like that, or like?
So right now I am actually I was actually selected to train under our lead colorist because I have expressed that my main interest is color.
Okay,
So
cool.
yeah.
That's exciting.
Yeah, it
I
is.
love
It
it. I'm
is.
so excited for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right. Well, like I said, keep me posted. Once you get on the
I will.
floor, if send me a little note and just be like thumbs up. I'm winning.
I definitely will. I
All right.
definitely
Cool.
will.
Awesome. All right.
Okay.
Well, take care and stay safe and best of luck. And we'll talk soon, hopefully.
Thank you. Same to you.
All right. Bye bye.
Bye.